Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Talking Parish League. I'm your host, Leroy John Baptist, and today promises to be an awesome show. We have a very heavy-hitting lineup today, and as we continue our series, as we evaluate the T20 World Cup that is presently going on, and also following the West Indies cricket. Last week we had Franklin Michael, I think, on. Yes, Franklin Michael out of Barbados, and it was really a very thought-provoking session, and he presented quite a different purview than the average person would look at. And then today now I see Taddy bringing some real veterans, this is going to be a dynamic show, so we just ask you to get yourself ready, get your cup of coffee, your bush tea, whatever you have, your orange juice, get it ready, because we're going to really get deep into this cricket today. But before we do that, let me recognize our platinum sponsor, the persons who make this show possible every week, ACB Caribbean. Simple, smarter banking. For all of your banking and connectivity needs, be sure to check them out at ACB Caribbean there. They have been with Parish League Circuit for well over 43 years, and for that we are eternally grateful. Brands for Less, your all-in-one store, whether it be clothing, footwear, or cosmetic. If you're looking that little gift for someone's birthday or wedding gift, whatever you need, just check Carol and her team there at Brands for Less. That's right there on High Street, just the other side of the old Deluxe Cinema, just next to Zachariah building there. You see sometimes these big teddy bears, but anything you're looking for, check Carol and her team right there at Brands for Less. Cool and Smooth, Amir and his team down at the Market Complex. There you can get all of your sporting apparels, household apparel, and just let him know that you heard this ad on Talking Parish League, and Amir and his team will take good care of you. Seco Pharmacy, for all of your pharmaceutical needs, be sure to check them out there at Seco Pharmacy, and they're open 27 days a week, and you could check them right there at the corner of High Street and Temple Street. Seco Pharmacy for all of your needs there. All right, well, again, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, we have a packed lineup, so I'm not going to do much talking. I'm going to be just listening to these guys speak about their experience, their evaluation of what's going on. And so, Taddy, without further ado, let me just bring you in. How was your week so far? And good to have you back again for another show.
Yeah, man, good afternoon to the viewing audience. Hey, John, man, this week was my usual week, you know what I mean? Just get around and what I have to do. But this week, we have some, like I said, some heavy hitters in here today. All-round and batsman, and which was a batsman for months or two. Well, he never scored plenty once. So he can't hear heavy batsman. Maybe some can say something about it. Some people would want to be. But, and he's a good guy, I can tell you that. He's a good friend. You know, when it's a Parish League, used to invite guys up here, tell you, guys from Stuart Williams and Harrigan, those guys who told Parish League from different country, you know. I mean, really, Parish League is like Mr. Brand says, Parish League International. We include everybody. You know, Mr. John, this is nothing new for me. But then, John, you have Eldine Baptist from West Indies all-rounder, and selected. Maybe he want to start his ranks off the John, pick on the choky fellas. I know you have to defend yourself today. You know what I mean, John? Then Soppy here say, farm aggressive batsman. Well, look at the team and say, maybe something get back the team up to now. Give Gail in the team, maybe something get to play. It's a much difference in result, John. Some people do better than that. And some of them much better fielder too. I can swear to you. You know what I mean, John? So, but then we have a zoom to the little John. We have a zoom to the John. The great King Frank Guy. Frank Guy was the vice of Parish League, Parish League. Yeah, I'm a former teacher at grammar school too, you know. Great man. Well, he been dodging me for Parish League now, saying that so well, you know. I don't even but I became ambassador and I you know what the joke is. Okay. That's what happened, John. I just believe in that. You know, I won't be part anymore. Parish League too small for him now. He will defend himself too. You know, John. And then Karen Cumberbatch. Well, like I said, put in the like bio there, the stuff. This man traveled all over the world in West Indies. And he will tell you that there no two bones wasn't there. So you can imagine how bones can be disappointed. See now the jokey guys in the field. So when I tell you something, you can make the team. John, I meant that now. Can I tell you for about 2-3 months now, John, it's a mass that Steve Weston is picking up. Gail, what other one? Bravo.
Bravo.
Rampal, Fidel Edwards, just name them, old fellas. So they didn't want to win nothing. But you told me some time ago, John, they're picking the winning team now, and the winning team now. I tell you, John, pick for the future. You don't get out of joke, you old guys, man. They can't make. John, 2020 is that test match you have to win some play now. 2020 happen fast now, John. And now the guys understand these things, John. And you should have better your 10-10 sample cricket is one of these things. Them shot the games can be real good athletes who can get the job done. Fielding, going between wickets. It's serious business, John. But hey, look, I don't want to take up most of the time today because I want to have more part of King and Bones. I said, Bones did this photographer, send all the pictures all over the world for you, John. I said, he's traveled, that was kind of the country where he's there. So we can hear from them today, and LD, like I said, he will have defended himself against me to John. I believe he started this nonsense picking out and joking, guys.
Well, Taddy, I don't even know where to start, honestly. But my initial thought, I see King Frank I. Let me start with our Zoom guest. Frank I, as the elder statesman, we're going to just say welcome to Talking Parish League and give you a first bite at the cherry. Generally, we're looking at the West Indies performance thus far and what's happening in this World Cup. So you could just give a little quick preamble. We get everybody into stadium.
Okay, then let me say what a pleasure it's really been and an honor to join this Zoom connection. I know I've always rated Taddy's media appreciation, all along. I think that it has been really missing from a number of other sporting, not only cricketing organizations, but sporting organizations generally, in terms of their media profile, being able not only to profile themselves, but the players who are involved in their particular organization. I think for that, that is one aspect of Taddy and the Parish League and Fitzroy Brand too, that has to be really applauded and commended and perhaps passed on to others, even now, contemporary sporting organizations, some of whom have still not grasped that aspect of media profiling. One thing I must say though in your introductions, John, you said a heavy team. I don't think you're referring to my weight at all, really, when you're talking about heavy. As a heavy person, because that is really diametrically opposed to my current weight, which has just taken my doctor recently taken my vitals. So I really have not been well over the past year and a half or so, or even more, suffering from a COPD, which is the chronic obstruction of the lungs disease, and which has been exacerbated by things just about a year ago, cricking of my back, which I had shared that with Taddy too, and he told me of similar experiences he had gone through, and so he knows how debilitating that back injury can be. But getting off myself now, and off of Parish League specifically, I agree with a lot of the comments that the Ayatollah just made a while ago. Certainly I think that this veterans idea of people approaching their 40s and past that 40-year mark also too, is diametrically opposed to what the necessities at the 2020 game, which demands agility, which demands a lot of running between the wickets, expert fielding too, and athletic type of fielding also too. So when you're picking veterans and obviating the possibility of quick running between the wickets, getting the twos, the singles, turning the twos into threes, etc., once you have that away from the veterans now, it puts an onus on them to be big hitters then. And if the big hitting is not coming off, we're at a loss. We notice that other teams in this T20 World Cup that, I think it was the Bahua, for example, he reached 25 with only hitting 1-4. And he does that in 25, 30 balls, so he's still striking at a good rate of 100, 120, etc. And he doesn't have to depend on boundaries to make that sort of, striking rate and to make those sort of runs. So I agree. My own conception and looking at the team and my criticism would spring not only from their performances in the two warm-up matches and subsequently in the round of 12, but also would have begun critique from the time of selection. seeing as they did going with these veteran players. With all due respects to Chris Gale and to Ravi Rampal, who I think that the two that we put in that category, up front, really, and I think that this selection policy has to change. I think that the band of selectors really to in West Indies cricket should generally be enlarged, and this is the point I've been making from as far back as I can remember myself in commentary and looking at West Indies team, etc. Because when you have 10, 15 islands from which you're picking, and just have four people doing these selections, I think it limits them in terms of the scope of the knowledge of the cricket all around. So whereas they might be able to witness and see the big matches at the first class level, are there praise of performances in the Windward Islands competitions, in the Leeward Islands competitions, and in individual territories activities too, So that's my feelings generally in an open over to there. I think the power players pass now.
All right, Bones, well, let's just tend to Zoom for the meantime. Good afternoon, welcome to Talking Parish League.
Yes, no, thanks a lot for having me. It's really a pleasure joining this industry upon me. When I look at Sophia and Soko, Buffy, and all of them guys, they've been watching in this memories, from my children around the game. And in terms of the present World Cup team squad, whatever, I will concur with what Frank said. My approach to this selection in the team would have been completely different, in the sense that the first thing I would have done is to call in the members on the team that we have quite a few of them already. They're experienced players, and first discuss the conditions that I would meet in Dubai, and then I would make my selection in the squad, by particularly standby players, based on that. I would have taken into consideration the two injuries we had in McCoy and Russell. He was injured at the time. True. Yes. And I would have, in the standby, I would have made always any of them not being able to participate in the game. That's one aspect of it. The second one that I had a real problem with, and I still do, is the whole question of the omission of Rutherford from the team, and the reasons given that he wasn't selected because he was unfit. And the chairman said, was being posed with the question when asked when was the fitness test done, was it really easy on that, and seemed to contradict himself by saying they normally tell him when the fitness test is done, then couldn't say it. And I looked at the CPL and I see the brother running all over the field, bowling, batting, and I couldn't understand. So this fitness test that I have is, I really, even although people try to explain, I still do not understand the fitness in the road test. I really don't. I come from the days when people go out and play cricket, and you have trials, etc., and you look at players, and you determine the quality of those players based on what you're looking at. I even want to try that and emphasize the fact that I look presently at our test team, and I can't for the life of me understand why everyone noticed the four young guys that came out of the Under-19 World Cup. Because we obviously have talent. I don't believe that anybody would say that we don't have talent. The problem is why is the talent maturing into efficient cricketers. And I probably will give my reasons for that, which I have felt for the, I don't know, over 30, 40 years ago from this program. I used to be more in the week. When it comes from the days when we started preparing pitches, because I think pitches are extremely important in all the reasons for our young cricketers not maturing. Because I come out of the culture that fast bowling has always been the forte of West Indies cricket. And my first observation of that would have been 1986. and we beat them 5-0. That sounds like a contradiction, but nevertheless. Having been in Barbados a couple weeks before the match, when we played against England, I saw Marshall get a whole bunch of wickets and was struck. That was, helpful to fast bowling, as traditionally Barbados pitches were. And then the pitch was flat. He still won the game and went on to win 5-0. And that was because England by that time totally demoralized. And I really couldn't feel that until I went upstairs with Mark Marshall. And in trying to explain the condition of the pitch, the guy just said to Marshall, every day that we lose from this cricket is $1 million. So if we prepare the pitch, a pitch that is conducive for the rest of the bowling attack, the game will finish in 3 days and then lose $2 million. And that has been really sold. And over the years, I've seen the deterioration of pitches in the Caribbean and the ruining of our fast bowlers that we produced in abundance prior to that. So it's a combination of those things that I think has led to a decline in West Indies cricket over the years, where finances, although important, became the overriding factor. I even remember once I was very grateful to be invited to the meeting, and the then President Rousseau and Parish League, my extended family. And the discussion was made as to us trying to get the pitches back how they were, because in the old days, you got Trinidad, you got the spinners wicket, you got the Guyana, you got the South pitch that would play nice. With the bowling in the first day of the match, as the case may be, and then it becomes a beautiful pitch to button, and to your reputation for assisting fast bowling, although people who only look at test cricket would feel like, how can you say that given the amount of records are being broken by batsmen A and P? But no, I'm talking about the days of shell shield and the domestic cricket, which was my priority basically, even when I started with the West Indies team. You go to England, and I would just be dying to come home to see the World play against Barbados, to see some good against the face and force about the Barbados, etc. And then went to Trinidad and being exposed to the Ranjin and Mans or wherever at the time. We had that variation of pitches through the Caribbean, and what I've seen is the same kind of pitches just became flatter and flatter, and all of them are basically the same. And I think our cricket has deteriorated. Of course, I want to emphasize again that I see historically in studying West Indies cricket, even before we played our first test match, that our 48 has always been fast bowling, because what we have brought to the game is accurate precision. So as much, for instance, as we mentioned, as the King was saying, about the individuals that we have out there outside the game, even the senior players, the allies in them. I mean, you still see the athleticism that they brought into the game when they were younger. And I felt that the fast bowling in June for the culture of West Indies cricket. And more than all, we have gone away from that culture completely. Another example I would give, I remember 1986, there was a meeting, I had a game in the members of the board suggesting to them that we set up an academy. Rather than, and that same year, I think Kenneth and Hooper were sent to Australia. And I remember Kenneth saying to me when he came back, that the very first day in the academy, we used Richie Richardson to show you how you operate in the slips in terms of slip catching. And then same thing. So my example at that time would have been Jamaica. And that Jamaica had started to retain their coaches and players so that you go to Jamaica to learn to run. And we have seen the result of that. And I thought that if we had set up an academy in those days, where people come to the Caribbean to learn to play cricket. But we always tend to look outside. look at Charlie for why we are so superior to the rest of the world, that we took this greatest, this small group of youngs with a small population that we have. After this, the greatest cricket team that this world ever seen. And they actually compared with just about any other sport out there, Brazil or whoever in football.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna just give us a second. We're gonna come back to you. Let me just, because we have a pack house today and we're running on limited time, so we're trying to get everybody to get a little piece of the pie here. Eldin, welcome again, and you. Let me just. Our two previous presenters spoke a little bit about the whole history and maybe what brought us here. Let's get current now. You're a former coach, a West Indies cricket player. What would be the mood? 4 games, losing all 4 games. What would you as a coach be telling your team?
They lose all 4 games, John.
They lose 3.
3.
Look, at the end of the day, the writing was sort of on the wall. So they have a, it's an aging team. And what you have to do, mix youth with experience. And for me, I would have taken at least 8 young players on this trip for this World Cup in Dubai. And if we were performing like this, then it would be understandable because they were young. But you can't take a experienced team.
Eldin, I'm going to put you on the spot. 8. Tell me the 4 you would leave out and the 4 you would have taken. Right. Just give me 4.
Well, the 4 you always definitely will have to take Shepherd. You have Shepherd, you have young Rutherford, and you have the guy Smith.
O'Shane.
No. What do you mean? Smith, call him Fisher from Jamaica as well. Okay. And I just can't remember the next one.
Who you would take out quickly?
Well, like Ron Paul, Bravo, Gale. Who else we have there? And then you pick another number out the hat there,
But from a coaching perspective, I was asking, what would be the mood like in the team? How would you go from here as a coach from this performance?
Well, it's not a good performance, and look, if you just watch the body language on the field today, you could see everything was going down. I mean, look, if you look at Sri Lanka had a couple under 19 players who played maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, and you could see the difference. So what you got to do, you got to build for the future. We, over the last 40 years, was always failed to do that. It's about quick fix. There's no quick fix. If you want to get a good team, it's going to take you 5 years. So 3 years where you're going to get some blows here and there, and then year 4 and year 5 is when you start to win. But you got to build a team. Have we ever tried to really build a team going forward like all the other countries? We're going for quick fit. And that goes back as well, that when we were dominant, we didn't cater for the younger players coming through, because we were just thinking about women at that time.
All right, Owen Roach, I don't know if I said or what, a part-time batsman in the Montreal team.
Yeah.
Well, Owen...
It is a part-time. It is a part-time.
And several half centuries.
Aye.
Putting that aside, gentlemen, on a very serious note, I've heard the submissions by Colin and also the King.
Wait, is it a quote? Is it a submission?
No, well, submissions are whatever you put forward, whatever you utter, it's the same thing. And I take a slightly different view, because I think that the Caribbean public, by extension, was looking for miracles from this particular team. The reality is that this decline has started probably over 2 decades ago. The reason why the West Indies team and the West Indies cricket is in the position that it is in at present is because we have failed to actually put in place a proper structure. Now, this is the reality. In Leeward's cricket, back in the 80s and 70s when Tally played, it was 4-day cricket or 3-day cricket, where you had batsmen who were proper batsmen with good batting techniques, bowlers who understood what bowling was all about. You have several guys who are playing cricket for the West Indies team now, even at the test cricket level, who's never even made a first-class century. Now, how could you be playing cricket for the West Indies at test level and you have not even made a first-class century? It it defies logic. It tells you that something is wrong with the core, the very system. We need to go back to basics. And we haven't done that. Now, I have listened to him, and what I would like to say to Taddy and
Who's him? Oh, Taddy.
Taddy, the King, and all these guys, that let's use Antigua as a prime example. This is a country that has produced in excess of 12 or 14 test players. Yet in Antigua, you don't even have a proper academy. System has failed again. That should not be happening. Antigua is a country that should have had a proper academy in place where guys like Eldin, Dave, Taddy, or whoever can work along with the youngsters. So when the youngsters get to the next step, they know exactly what they're all about. You know, for too long we've seen the youngsters getting to test cricket level or in general international level, and they just don't fit. They're out of their scope, they're out of their depth. And the truth is that it's not about what this team did in this 2020 competition, it's about putting in place a proper structure, and we need to go back and get the basics right. And until we get the basics right, which means, for example, proper coaching, proper facilities, proper funding as well, we will continue to exhibit what we're seeing here in this T20 tournament. It's good for everyone to talk about the halcyon days of Vivian, Malcolm Marshall, and so on. But the reality is that the basics of the game are still the same, but other countries have actually improved upon those basics. Those guys have gone to a level where mechanically, technically, the expertise is much different to what we have in the Caribbean now. And it's obvious, when you look at our batsmen batting, you start thinking, well, is this real cricket or is it a match we were playing on the beach? Because something is wrong, something is wrong. And we can't pretend. You know, we have to go back to the basics and get the structure there right. And unless we do it, nothing is going to improve. And also in terms of the politics of West Indies cricket, we have to call a spade a spade. There's still too much insularity and nepotism. And that has to change as well. We need to find a way where we say, all right, we're going to put together a system in place where we have an overall selector in the Leewards, we have one in the Windwards, one in Jamaica, one in Trinidad or Barbados or whoever, and they look at the guys playing over a period of time. They come together and then they select a team. You can't ask a Trinidadian to play an Antiguan or Anguillan or division when they have a natural bias towards their own. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter where we come on these forums or any other forum, it's not going to change. That nepotism is entrenched. It goes way back to the 1940s and 50s. Probably changed a little in the 1960s when Warren was captain. But it has still continued throughout the years. And for West Indies cricket to move forward, my brother, we need to take all these things on board. I mean, no disrespect like I've said, because I am a man, I call a spade a spade. Look at the T20 team that went there. You go down to the market and you speak to all the fishermen. You go up to the east of Antigua and you speak to the farmers. You come to St. John's and speak to all the corporate people, and they tell you one thing in common. That team is not the right team. So if everybody is saying that, and the people who are selecting the team don't understand that, what does that tell us?
Sabi?
Well,
Welcome back again.
I want to
Great points.
Yeah,
Well.
I support Mr. Roach in what he's saying in terms of the politics and, you know, all that kind of stuff and the old histories and so on. And still I want to support Mr. Baptist again. I mean, even Jabi alluded to it. The backbone of West Indies cricket has always been fast bowling. And Eldin is saying he wanted to take, you know, 8 young players. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that, taking 8 young players, but when I look at what's going on in the World Cup, what's happening? I see the fast bowlers from the other teams, very difficult to get away. You cannot go and swish and slug and swipe at nobody coming at you 90 miles an hour.
Truth and right.
So what's happening to our young SEALs or young Azari Joseph? Put those guys in. And then the other thing is, we need to be able to manage these guys. So it comes down to management.
Some people, is it, we have, well, if I'm not mistaken, O'Shane Thomas is in the touring party, and one of the things the head selector said was he was the X factor with his pace, but he hasn't played a game yet.
You see, when you as you say, playing, I mean, I captain a lot of teams, and you cannot go selecting teams based on friendship and based on who is going to be upset. You got to pick the best team, horses for courses. okay, if you look at the other teams, you see the fast bowlers pushing his batsmen back all the time. So you got to use your fast bowlers too. Unless you're saying that all fast bowlers are not as quick as those.
Which is true.
I just see John Dana is part of the problem. How fast bowlers not fast now? How fast bowlers not fast? They're friendly medium. What they like it or that. When you see them guys, you don't get this, you know, the fear, man. You see, then guys are packing set out the teams. That's some guys bowling 90 miles, 90 something and so. Our guys beating with 130 to 1. Like, they're friendly. And the pitch is over there, low and flat. So you have some pace to push back people. So I suppose some people are, but what Bowen said earlier now, I've been saying that about 10 years ago now. The team early they were forced to pick, not early, before early. When the regional cricket finished, they pick almost all the spinners. Carno, I get 200 something wickets. This get 50 something, get 80 something. Spinners playing some choky pitch. But as soon as they play test cricket, no pitch well prepared for 5 days and 6 days, they can't get the ball in turn. So we prepare some choky pitches for the years, over the years. And that's what the batsman get when they go inside now. Pitch that good. So like Owen said, a picket man that never goes century. In the old days of Bowen said, they play guy, that's a very likely to be a John match. When you come back at your ground, you'll play the century score. When you go Barbados, second is plenty runs in school, but we can make ones. In Barbados, pitch you'll assist you. But what is about the years now? They prepare some pitches that are good to have. It's a spin ball, said they discourage your pace, man. And I think Frank Bowman is a very crucial point, you know. In the old days when they started playing first, John, selectors would go and watch practice, local cricket practice. So you have an idea, what kind of talent this guy have. He might not perform well on the weekend, but you're watching practice over weeks and weeks and weeks, so hey, you know the guy can do. Just give him a chance to really evolve in the big matches, because you know the guy has talent.
But Taddy, not to, you always said something to us, Taddy, to me in particular. Lots of guys will be watching, seeing something and still don't know what they see. And you're seeing it in the West Indies cricket by the teams they pick. You know what I'm saying? When I had one look at the young guy Rutherford, when they were in St. Kitts, in CPL, I said, no, this young guy really looks organized. And then I'm surprised that he's not in this World Cup team.
The man not fit.
But then you can't be not fit. And then you still have a team who can't stop a single.
Hey, King well, but the man not fit. That's a shame. I'm being man, this guy needs to know. So you can't say the bias.
No, but in all fairness to the selectors and to West Indies cricket, they have said the fitness policy is known to all the players. So it's not something that just sprung on them out of the blue. They know these are the conditions for selection. And so if they don't fit into that criteria, can you really blame the selectors?
And then you change and say what 80% Russell is better than 100% Rutherford? That don't make no sense.
And a 30% Gale.
Rubbish.
And a 30% Gale. And a 30% Gale. I remember the story to John. Hey, I tell you some weeks ago. I didn't see what's to expect some kind of pull up. Some kind of muscle pull up.
Well, that's so true. So true.
Bones and Frank, I feel free to come in at any time because this is just all.
Yeah, but I with respect and through the chair, through John, I just wanted to corroborate what Owen was saying, you know, namely that the selection panel has to be broader. We can't just leave it to 4 guys from, say, 3 of the big islands or whatever. It has to be broader. I think Taddy was underlining that point also. But even to Owen, he's saying that Antigua didn't have an academy as such. We had a one-man Ayatollah academy, you know, because Taddy used to be on them guys. You hear when he's talking about fitness, Taddy doesn't run them up some hills and so on, you know. Their fitness wasn't just come around just so, you know. Taddy was insistent on certain attitudes, you know, and there were others around too at the time, but I agree still it was not been formalized into an academy. But I want to ask a question of the panel pertaining to this 2020 also too, and to the whole process of the 2020s over time too. Don't you think, looking at the West Indies and seeing how much of them have been in the IPL and knowing what they call the bubble business, and how it has worn down some people, you know, that our players were a little too jaded, having played this long set of 2020 cricket in IPL particularly. And we saw like England and so on and Australia withdrawing some of their players from there because of the feeling. And Gale himself even came out for a while and said he wanted a little relaxation away from this bubble business, etc. Has that been a factor at all?
No, that's not a factor. Let me tell you the real factor. The real factor is that the other teams are outthinking our team. So what you find is that our batsmen in particular, they don't have the technical skills to adapt to certain situations. So guys like Pollard, just give it some thought. He failed in the IPL recently. I mean, when last has Pollard really come to the forefront? Because people are working these guys out. And that is the simple thing. We have a set of players who can't adapt to different situations. Why not? Because they never had the correct base. They came from a structure that was weak. So when you're asking them now to adapt to a particular situation, they can't do it. And that is a problem. It's a major, major problem. If you're taking Viv Richards, you're one leg to IPL, Viv would score runs every second match or every match. Because he has the technical expertise and he can adapt to the situation. Brian Lara would have done the same thing without even trying to hit a six. Brian Lara would have made 43 runs every match because he has the technical expertise. These guys that we have are technically deficient. I have to accept it.
But gentlemen, when we talk
Yes, may I like comment here?
Yeah, go ahead, Bowen.
Yes, look, I mean, let's face it, the selection panel have to take a lot of blame for what's going on. For instance, I come from the days where we didn't have a whole bunch, there are no T20 cricket. And say, for instance, the example, Desmond Haynes, 78, make 100 and get into the testing. It seems to me that the selectors really I don't need anybody in the selection team to think outside the box, to look at cricketers and decide if your ability is good enough for you to move from the 50 over T20 level to test cricket. Particularly considering for the past 2 years, we haven't had any 4-day tournament. Example again, why isn't, I didn't mention Shepherd. So why is the Shepherd in the best voice is the best? We have taught to something players are on whichever and expose them to the longer version of the game. I am of the firm belief, because I think, for instance, that Evan Lewis is probably the best opening batsman we have in the Caribbean. And I'm judging this off of how I came up in the culture of judging cricketers. You look at them and you see the ability to play a young cricket and they're half wherever. And I look at Hatamaya, at Puran, and the youngsters on the team. And how many test matches have they played? The same thing the mentioned Pollard just now. When Pollard came into cricket, Pollard's biggest mistake was to go by Stanford ground and hit a bunch of sixes and then put him in a box and being a T20 cricketer. And that exposed him to test cricket. And if those batsmen were exposed to test cricket, some of the issues that is brought up, with them not being able to adjust to the game, would not be so. Test cricket is the kind of like the groundwork
Jabi.
for playing all these different things.
Jabi,
Yeah.
you've got to be mindful, you know, because if some of them were exposed to test cricket, they might not have been here today. Some of them would have been knocked out. So that's another thing.
Well, you never know that until you expose them.
Until, I'm telling you.
You got to expose them
Technically,
to the game.
guys,
I mean, let's face it. When we won the 19 tournament, and you targeted 3 or 4 players from the 19 squad, where you say had all this talent. So if they have talent, then why don't you expose them to all the various forms of the game? Because you are already saying that they have the talent. And you expose them to the game. And then you see where that talent takes them. That's why I mentioned Desmond Haynes.
But
One century doesn't make a 50 when he went to the test cricket. He didn't look back.
If I'm not mistaken, a couple of years ago, maybe last year, Puran, and Eldin Babziyoko, Puran was highlighted of they're trying to transition him out of, well, from the one-day T20 into the test match. I don't know if they've forgotten that model. I haven't seen him really been involved in any of the 4-day setting. Do you think that is that a road they should still go down in trying to get some of these guys like the Purans really into the test cricket, which, as I've heard everybody saying, if you learn to play proper cricket, it makes it easier for you to transition into the T20 50 over format?
Yes, but look, a lot of the players doesn't want to play the longer version, is it? They don't. And as we are discussing, look, at the end of the day, it's just like building a house. If you don't have a foundation, you know, you can't build up the wall and then properly. So you have to have the basic thing. Because all you're doing now from test cricket, one day international, coming down there, the one day international T20, all you have to do, you just do all them basic things there a little bit quicker.
A little bit faster.
A little bit faster, and that's about it. If you look at it again, and we could go all over the world and come back down to we could knock the ball in gaps and get twos and singles. If you hit a 6 off the first ball, you have 5 more balls to get 5 singles. That's 11. It's different way. Yeah, and all you got to do is just
but gentlemen, I said this last week and I got chastised. West Indies cricket over those last couple of T20s tournament we won has always been a power game. Even the players came out, Puran came out and said, our game is hitting boundaries, hitting sixes. That is their mantra. And when you check the building of the team, that is what it's all about. Who in this team? Even Chase, who is a knock round. Chase is not an exceptional quick runner between the wicket. Our cricket, when you watch our CPL, whatever, that is just the format, that is how they play. Good to have you in the house, Coach Abdel Hughes. Play. So, I mean, what are we really expecting from these players? Let me just run through here. Look at this. This is for the T20 so far. Russell played 4 games, an average of 1.75.
He's doing well, man.
Bravo, 4 games, 4 innings, 5.33. Gale, 4 innings.
Your favorite guy.
30 runs, a highest of 13, 7.5. Lendell Simon, he played 2, 9.5. Pollard played 4, 46 runs total, 15.33. Evan Lewis, Bones was just speaking about him, 4 matches, 19 average. Jason Holder 23, Ruston Chase 24, Puran 24, and Hetmeyer 33. And Hetmeyer 33 only got there because of the 81 he made today. I mean, where do we go with this? And if we compare what we have around the Caribbean, do we have anything better than this?
That's a good question.
At least it might not be better, but you can invest in the youth.
That's what we're talking about. You see, and that's what
you're going no place. So
we have to. But another time you hear everybody say, this is what we do. If we keep saying this is what we do and you don't change it, we're going to get the same result. So that's why we get the same result all the time.
Hey, John, see, I think Frank Bones mentioned, you know, we have been playing in the 4-day cricket in the region for a while. And I've been telling you for the longest time, 4-day cricket is where you build cricket doesn't make them. I've been telling you for weeks now, 4-day cricket. I was selected with Leave Island. And, well, they told me that we're going to play 3-day matches. And when they got there, they only wanted to play, so I said, this is not for me. How you can play 1-day cricket, pick a 4-day match team? It's ridiculous. You know, so I'm saying to you, until we get back to the basics that Owen mentioned, let you learn to bat, spend time on the wicket, perfect your art. Because when you get bat for a day and a half, that can't plenty concentration, you know. You can adjust to the situation. I remember when the great Daniel was around, he said to us, when the pitcher bounces in, you don't want to sweep. Those are the kind of things he'd advise you, kind of bounce, hit the gloves and all this other thing. So you learn these things over a period of time, John. So I'm saying to you, John, until we go back to the basic, learn to bat for long, play good pitches. We have the same result like Erling said. Because like Erling said to guys, no performance can't get there where the money is. But what happens now, John? Test cricket is what the way we fool for guys. That's why you can't test, you know. Because you both mentioned a guy in the name of Evan Lewis, that's what his name is. Where you put 3 or 4 man sit on the edge of the you know. I tell you that. You have a second chance again until second innings. But when you play 2020, you edge a big shot most of the time, you know. But not in Test cricket and 4D cricket. That's why I tell you, John, I like 4D cricket. Because you see West is playing now, John, they play 4D like 2020, you know. They came about the dead half all day. All out about 40 hours, 50 hours, all out. Test cricket playing, John. So we guys are learning to bat, John. Then they consider bat lungs, occupy crease. That's what we said earlier and earlier. Occupy crease, so between that. You have to occupy the crease to learn to make centuries, big centuries, double centuries. So that's what I vex with Gail. No? Gail's supposed to go to the hero, you know. But no, Gail, everybody Gail back, you know. Choky fellow. Gail has such a good record over the years, and now look at brings himself to. Big in the play.
We have focused quite a bit on the batting. Let's just look at some of the bowling averages.
I just wanted to confirm
Go ahead.
what are you saying? I mean, what are you saying there is so correct. I mean, nobody is explaining to me. Somebody could explain to me why we won the under-19 tournament. And we came out of the under-19 tournament with these young players that we targeted as having the team that we won has made one of the greatest centuries in under-19 cricket. Some pundits like Imran say that was one of the greatest innings, period. What is the problem with the transition from 19 to 21 to 22 to 23? And once we examine that and see what the reason is, which is what I is saying, why do I need selectors? If you just picking people because they play T20 cricket and you're not going outside the box to go and look, that's what you have selectors for, to look for talent, examine that talent and expose that talent to all the various forms of the game. But that is not happening, so I don't need selectors, all I need is a machine. So I look at the averages at the end of the tournament, T20 people play T20, 50 overs play 50 overs and the ones that play the long over shot, which are not exposing them to because they don't have it. That's why I mentioned one no. I mentioned one no. Why isn't you should expose itself again? Why is it not in the best by best?
I was a boy. It mentions early bones. You get the young guys, you just have some talent, but they have no academy to get them in there to work with them. Focus on them. These are guys who are going forward.
You know, one day in England this summer, I played a cricket match with Phil Wallace. And both of us, we just sat down after the game and we said, you know what? Look at this game here. It's a fun game. But look at the kind of facilities that they have. Look at the pitch. Look at the outfield. Look at even the covers they have. And you start thinking, look, something in the Caribbean is not right. This is corridor cricket, this village cricket. Look at the electronic scoreboard. And you start thinking, well, something with our structure is not right. This is not a first-class cricket. It's Sunday game, corridor game. And the facilities are so much intact. And you come, you know, look at what's the name of the going up there, sorry, where you are practice?
Factory?
No, not factory, right here.
Oh, Rising Sun.
All these years, mediocre facilities. I mean, how do you explain that? Antigua country with 14 test players. Somebody come off a cruise ship to watch a game and you take them to Rising Sun. It's not good enough. It's just not good enough. There's no excuse.
Yeah, that is all part of it as well, but what you got to look at as well. But the modern technology that they have, there's no excuse for players not to improve. It's simple. You have all the video, everything that you can have to be the best you can be. And at the end of the day, if you don't want the best you can be, nobody can make you, can help you, but you have got to want to be the best you can be. And what has got to happen is the work you put in. And when I say work, not just running work, it's the quality. Perfect practice make you perfect. Not just, people just think by hitting balls or they practicing. It's not, that's not quality. Your practice is a match situation. You transfer from the practice straight to whatever you do. The only thing you have to adjust there is the surface of the pitch. You may have to bowl a little bit fuller, or you may have to bowl a little bit short. And then you got to watch your ball, know what to leave and what to play. If you look at West Indian players or players, we defend ball that can't hit our stump. And for me, cricket is very simple. If a ball can't hit your stump, either leave it or you hit it.
Question, gentlemen. Now you mentioned that. Anyone, coaching. What role does coaching play in where our cricket is at the moment? Eldin just said the players have to want it. Coaching. Well, how important is coaching in this aspect? You know, we had a lot of talk here about this, level 3, level 4 coaching and stuff like that.
John,
Talk to me, guys. Tell me.
John, Eldin is a coach. What I said to you, John, that to me is a myth, no. I can tell you, like a myth, you know. I can tell you why I said that. Those coaches who coach like West Indies team and that team and the other team, to me they're really managers now. There's manager players. Yeah, most of them don't know what they say in the cricket field now. A player like Eldin say, somebody doing something wrong, somebody doing something. They can't take the guy aside and start it out, no, John. That is what the experienced cricketers used to do before we had coaches. Before they were coaches, John. I don't mention names here, Danny Livingston, no. Danny Livingston, watch you over there, you're not doing something, you're not doing that. You start it out. And that should be the role of the coach. But these coaches have no the level, this and that. They go to class and they have this shut today. And somebody tell them something, they have the experience of nothing, no, John. So they can't teach you nothing, no, John. And that's a big, big problem having cricketing on this part, John. I can tell you that. And I'm not afraid to say that, John. And I know what I'm talking about, John. Because look, I've telling you this story before now. There's this guy they got from Australia named some Bennett King. When the West Indies team paid about 200 million, I don't know. And when in Sri Lanka, I saw bunks and technique, poor, the one who got crowd, going to grab it. So he said to myself, well, I hope they take it in there and sort them out. Yeah, the technique was bad, you can see it. And then Bungson came back and why you know, Bungson, I told you before, the Bungson said to me, you know, Becky said to me, when they come out to Antigua, let coach start with that for you, okay, you can't do it. And he get the 2 million, he get 2 million a year or something like that. So John, you can argue level is a level that, if you don't know the job, you don't know the job. That's the part of the problem, John. So you can hear coaches like, you know, they may give you a job. They may argue, there's no practice.
But Taddy, how do you get to a test level or international status and not having the basics and knowing the basics, what to do, what not to do? If you run into a problem or difficulty, you should know what to do. Go back to basics. Isn't that so soccer?
Well, what I want to hear you quickly. I want to hear you quickly, soccer. Because see, I remember I used to play against a great batsman from Munster named Jim Allen. I said to a great batsman from Munster named Jim Allen. And Jim Allen was never captain of Munster. The name saying him, Bennett Roach in this, Bennett Roach, every person back in work, a black belt in Arca. I never forget him, a good friend, he's a journalist. But he was a captain, and a couple of people captain before Jim Allen. Jim Allen was vice captain 1 year. And the captain had to go out of the field, and Jim Allen took over the team. And Jim Allen didn't know to set the field to save his life. I tell myself, wait, but you know, Jim Allen went to Packer season, so he didn't learn nothing. Couldn't set the field. You think he's picking area cricket, school league. So I'm saying to you, John, so we play the game, they excel, but they're not well learned in the game. Another part of the problem, they're not students of the game. And some people, like some people, they come fact, you know. I have a captain, so I set the field, they must learn all this thing going on, learn the set field, explain to them. That's part of the learning process.
Yeah, but you see, if you think about coaching in general, and I want Eldin to think about what I'm saying very quickly. Now, he played cricket at a very interesting time. So you'd have started to play cricket in Liberta. Some of the best coaches were the guys who were on this side having a drink of rum.
True.
Because these guys, they might have not been good batsmen and bowlers, but they knew what it takes to be a good batsman or bowler. So at the end of the day, they can tell you, hey, Eldin, you know what? You left your right arm not coming high enough and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Which makes sense, you see? And then you progress from there to school, cricket and Parish League and all that kind of stuff. But these days, what you have youngsters playing cricket for Leewards and Barbados and Jamaica who only get selected because probably there's no one else to play. Because quite frankly, based on stats, they should not be playing. And then they get into the first class setup, which is a disaster. because there's no proper structure in place. They made 250s and 145 and they play for the West Indies, and it's more disaster.
Frankai, what's your take on the whole coaching aspect in
Yes, I wanted to make a point about what you were saying, John, as regards we are power hitters. And I think it's wrong. I think Eldin emphasized that too. It's all well and good to just say, well, your strategy is not set in concrete. It has to be fluid. It has to change with circumstance, etc. And you have to be aware of certain little aspects. And in this 2020, what I'm speaking about now is the fact that we have realized how important run rate is going to be as a final determinant. So even if we had won our last 2 matches and we have just lost our penultimate one, we would still have been behind the 8 ball because our run rate, which was exacerbated by making 55 alone in our first match, will be a factor against us. The point I'm making is, against what people have been saying too, that 2020 is a bang bash game. But when we look at players like Virat Kohli has been going out there with any attempt to lick centuries, to lick 4s and 6s, but he has just been doing perfect cricket strokes. He has not been flying or whipping, and as we say. And I think that this is an aspect that we have to take into account. Our strategic approach to the white ball cricket, the 50 overs and the 2020, the limited overs form of the game. And I agree that the foundation has to be in test cricket too, and that we have to get the type of coaches like what Taddy and Danny Livingston were able to do. Taddy will tell you that as a coach, when practice matches are going on, Danny is not up in the stand watching people now. Danny is the standing umpire, where he can watch and see directly what this player is doing. You understand? And we have to have those sort of on-hand coaches who can look at the situation. I think Guy had that ability too, Mr. Yearwood, that, because he came up under the same Danny Livingston old school training and temperament. You have to be able to look at them and say, look, this is where you're failing in basic technique. Yeah. Realizing at the same time that people's technique might differ and they get accustomed to a particular technique. And that is because they ingrain a bad habit from too early. So that we have to catch them at an early stage and be able to teach them some of these basics. How to lift up the bat, lift up to gully. You try to do it up to first before you move your stump. And when we watch the videos, and there's so many of them now on YouTube with the great pictures, you realize that what's going on in West Indies cricket particularly, and some other countries too, is not batting as how we know it with a capital B. It is a kind of tangible situation kind of cricket. And I think that we have to become a little more expansive in our coaches and in our selection policies also too.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to take a little break here, and when we get back, we'll focus a little on the bowling. We've been looking at the batting.
When we get back, I'd like to say something about the coaching before you.
Okay, so we'll start with you, so we'll get back. ACB Caribbean, simple, smarter banking. 43 years of partnership with the Parish League circuit, and for that we're eternally grateful. And so for all of your banking and financial needs, be sure to check them out there at ACB Caribbean, the #1 financial institution in Antigua and Barbuda, and dare we say in the wider region. Digicel, the bigger, better network. For all of your internet and connectivity needs, be sure to check them out there at Digicel for all of your internet needs. Plumbing Electrical Limited, with a wide assortment of plumbing and electrical fittings, it's your one-stop shop for all your plumbing and electrical needs. If they don't have it, just ask them. They'll get it for you, whether retail or wholesale. Plumbing Electrical Limited, they're located just as you exit Potters, going to the south, yes, just before you get to the transport board turnoff, you'll see a little sign there marked PEL, that stands for Plumbing Electrical Limited. Go right inside there and they will take care of all your plumbing and electrical fitting need. Zen Body and Skincare, enhancing your natural beauty. Distributor of Black Girl Sunscreen, made by women of color for people of color. A sunscreen for everyday use. Zen Body and Skincare. They are located at Ways Estate, just east of Pickett's, north of the Social Security Housing Project, and you could reach them at 779-4846. Blue Mountain Water, the best tasting water on the island, and that can be had from mega distributors on the American Road. So for your refreshing water, it's Blue Mountain Water. And Pine Hill Juice, agents for Pine Hill Juice, Hutchinson Wholesale. They have them in a variety of flavor, and so you could check them out there on the Sir Sidney Walling Highway. Pine Hill Juice at Hutchinson Wholesale. All right, I think we've covered everybody here. All right, so Bones, yeah, go straight ahead, Bones.
Yes, good thanks. Let me say, all the blueprints around out there, it's nothing fancy or strange. Let me just take Antigua cricket. We start from the bottom, with Taddy and as the mentioned guy, from that area. Once you get into Antigua cricket, then you will be captain, then there's Ralston, Hayden, and then by extension, Dave, or something. So by the time you play for the Restream, you would have had all that cricket under your belt. You would have understood the game thoroughly and the nuances of cricket. So that's where it started. I think coaching at the test level is overrated. Because what do you do with a team that you get at test level, given the time you have, and it's less now you see in many days, play a few warm-up matches, you come here play, and then 2 days later you run straight into the test match. What does the coach do? Over the years, I could identify players. One of the best examples I could use is probably Larry Gomes. Having a little issue with his batting. It's identified right away. You see, under the 7.5 season, to go and correct that, he's falling over on the left side. To go and correct that. So all of our cricket is the culture. That is basically what the problem is that we have gone away from the culture and we utilizing other people's approach to cricket for our remedies or for our enhancing our game. Then all you got to do is look at the history of the game and you see all the answers right there and the utilization of these people, the utilization of these individuals that was so successful. So then you come and you take a manager now. In the old days, when you have you go managing the United Island team, managing the Antigua team, Danny Livingston. By the time you come out of that school, you are fully equipped to move on from there, and to change all that by following people and introducing a manager. Introducing a manager who is basically a liaison officer.
Precisely.
So he has no contribution to the game. Why would you want to go away from something that is successful? You only had the manager, coach used to be the same person, the Jackie and the Sunny Westhalls. But our cricketers were prepared for cricket, understood the game, and we played a different kind of cricket than any else in the world.
Could I just add to that one? That when you was managing an Antiguan team in a Leeward Islands tournament, is sometimes the Anguillan and Kittitian players that come to you, and say skip and or manage and would have that sort of influence there. And I see a lot of that in terms of what you're saying. That it was not only to the Antiguan players that he was imparting, and 2 examples of this, of course, would be Banks, young Banks, and young Hodge too, who would be, see them in the Antigua dressing room, talking to the coach, etc. And you see that interplay at that particular level, So
that's correct. I mean, it's even further than that, frankly. I've seen them talk to Trinidadians. Exactly. One kind of different person, of course, because you're interested in West Indies cricket just generally. You understand? Take LB for instance. So don't I forget, let me take my camera, have it out there amongst the players and commentate in the game. What he is actually doing is teaching the youngsters what is going on out there, understand certain things. Why just one ball, why you move a man from here to there, or whatever. And then you see later, not touch cricket. You see started doing it at touch cricket. So all I'm saying is the culture. We just need to get our culture going for play Kaiso cricket that we bring to the world and evolve this game, evolve cricket into what it is today. So they do some time with us. We are so powerful. You come and say you will bowl X amount of bump over. And I have serious amount of problems with that. When we move from just bowling bumpers. Because they could not enforce that we did. And we should just maintain our culture. I said, all right. So the man said, I hear some people arguing about how you will make the adjustment when you're going to the test level. I said adjustment to come to. And the umpire is playing, one more short pitch ball. So we just follow. And it's not just cricket. It's endemic to our societies. It's why you're so sick. Here in the Caribbean, the non-communicable disease, we don't listen. We don't follow the things that our ancestors bestowed upon us that make us strong. And we go away from it. I
just add something quickly.
Yes.
Because what happens, you mentioned your young Frank, I mentioned something earlier. I think when you were born, where Hugh was manager. But I've been saying it on this show for the longest while, John. In old days, there was no coach. The manager and the senior players were the big shots. Those are the guys who run things. Those are the guys who impart the knowledge to the players. Juniors and seniors and all this other thing. What has happened now, John, since the introduction of coaches, the manager, like somebody said, tell to be a liaison officer. And to me, that's, in my last year, tell part of Hugh about that. You go. How can a manager, with all that wealth of knowledge, and he doesn't have the impact on the team? Most of the time, some managers have no knowledge in the game than the coaches know. But they have some level of nonsense. And they don't know the game. And I say all of them, plenty of them. But I'm saying to you, John, those old time guys, those managers, those are the guys who take the guys in net. Or they'll tell you, any cricket field going on, any club, is the senior guys used to be the teachers now. When you know that, they don't know coach, it's the senior guys who be the teachers. They take you and teach you how to bat. But what happens now, anyway, you're going to have somebody, if you have a coach, nobody's there. You know what I mean, John? And they'll tell you now, you can hear me bat a couple of times in the middle. But when you're batting the senior guy in the middle, John, in a big match, whatever match, you teach the younger guys along the line. That's your role now.
Right.
As a senior batsman, a senior player, you keep the rookie, the young guys, and teach them things when they're batting with him. That's where you learn, John. That's where you learn this game. In other words, in the match, practice, this and that, and each other. But look, John, there's nothing like practice, but there's nothing better than match practice. Match practice is a real practice. And when you're out one time, that's it. So I'm saying to you, John, like Bo said, we depart from the things that brought us there, man. You know what I mean? And then it was get back. Let's say play plenty of 40 cricket and put up something early to know. Like when you go to England, it's a job. Okay? See, you live in England too long now, maybe. Any growing in England, it's a nice cricket field, a nice pavilion. You know? So we tell you, again, never forget, when we went to England, when you go to the pavilion, you wonder where the cricket pitch, when you go play the match, you see the cricket pitch in the John, everything look green. And next thing, the pitch, boy, that's the best pitch you can play on the John, because they put on the hose in the roller, nice pitch. But pavilion is there, man, nice atmosphere. England, I believe England is the best place to play cricket. They're fun, and they love the cricket.
Gentlemen, at one time, a couple of months back, Hayden Walsh, he was seen as our premier, probably leg spin bowler.
2020,
yeah, we do 2020. Remember we do the 2020 World Cup, Daddy. The cricket you don't like, but the cricket that is here to stay. Okay, that is the commercial cricket. But there is other spin bowler, Hussein. He seems to have sort of leapfrog ahead of him. how do we see the bowling? When I look at the bowling averages or the economy rate, we're not doing too bad. I mean, the highest would be probably Captain at 9.85, Hayden Walsh 8.66, and then we have a couple guys 6.6.
How much matches Hayden Walsh played, John?
One match.
Yeah, that's,
One match.
See,
But-
they put that also played. They can't think also played.
But the bowling itself, in terms, it doesn't seem it has done too much of a bad job. I mean, what more could we do to the bowling? Good afternoon, George Ferris. Good to have you on board. And he's just bigging up the panelists here. And who else we have here? Earl Richards. Good to have you also, Earl. And Carol, good afternoon, dear. The bowling coach. Is there anything we could do, any addition we could do to make the bowling a little more potent? We're speaking T20. I know you guys focus a lot on the test match, but the reality is it's the ICC T20 and we're focusing on T20 cricket now. What could we do in terms of our bowling?
Well, you have to can execute your skills. It's as simple as that. You gotta know to bowl the Yorker, the slow ball, win, and wave. Not just running up and hoping. And then you got to have a balance in the attack, which we don't know. Who do you got if you want a wicket? Who is the wicket taking guy? For me, Hayden was in the original squad, so he's got to play. He might go for 40, but he might get you 4 wickets. While the other left arm orthodox will bowl you 4 overs, none for 30. So we need that, and we need to know with the new ball what are the roles. Who's going to look to get wickets? Because the wicket slow down the run rate. It's just you got to find the right balance and know who is going to bowl up front, who is going to bowl in the middle, and make sure they come and they execute their skills.
Owen?
I mean, I would take a slightly different turn. I mean, what intrigues me, based on the time I've been spending in Antigua, is the fact that the younger players, the younger bowlers, the Alzaris, etc., you have people with a lot of knowledge, like Taddy, LD, and I just kind of understand why sometimes these guys say, look, can I come and have a chat? Can you sit down and, let's have a chat about bowling, where you think I might be going right or where you think I might be going wrong. And they just keep making the same mistakes, like recurring decimals. And to me, it defies logic. I don't understand it.
But not to cut you on, but one of the things we've seen with the present day cricketers is they don't seem to take criticism or advice very well. They're always very defensive. We would have seen our captain just the other day kind of brushing aside a media personality for asking him a question about, I think it was, I don't remember which play it was. I mean, how do we get to these players? Because they seem to be, I don't know if it's gung-ho, shy, what it is to really engage the stalwarts of the game.
No. You see, what these players need to understand is one simple thing. And that is West Indies cricket that has made them. That's the first thing they need to understand. All the star status there, all this expensive cars and chains and all that kind of stuff. We talk West Indies cricket, they're nothing. And they have to understand from a very early age that cricket is bigger than them. Because the problem with some of them is that they believe they're bigger than the game. They're not. Because it is a game that has made them. And that's where they're getting it wrong. So they have to be taught from an early age that, look, you have to remain grounded. These guys are not grounded. And that's a massive part of the problem. You can't even talk to them.
Soppy, do you want to share?
Yeah, well, I want to add that, you're looking at the bowling. And Soka will say, who will bowl first, who will go, second, who's a wicket taker. But first, you must come up with a plan.
Yes, sir.
What are we going to be doing with this batting team? How are we going to approach it? How are we going to attack them? So again, the people who are assessing this opposition team, you got to know what to make your assessment, then you go into your selection. Then you know who you're going to bowl first. I mean, no point coming out and say, okay, we're going to start with Hayden Walsh when Cole is in and he plays leg spin very well. So the assessment, if you look at our team, whenever we're batting, I can go for one name. Whenever Pollard comes in, medium paces are, our paces are. Because they know for sure he cannot hit that ball once it's above the stump height. So keep the ball above the stump height and you wouldn't get any runs. You watch him in the IPL, they worked it out as Owen said, and they just go in at the plan straight. So what are we what are we doing in the Caribbean? What are we analyzing? What are we assessing before we go to play? You know, I mean, I played along with Soka in Leeward Islands team. Masterpiece when it comes to assessing. You understand? He might have been slower than the other bowlers in the team, but he can put the ball on the spot and say, well, this guy cannot play here, and here is where we're going to live. Bowl here all day. And that's the kind of thing you need to be doing. So I don't know what we can do, but I know we need to assess who we're going to be playing against. Then we're going to know who to bowl, when to bowl them.
Gentlemen, you know, time is going, but so I want to know fast forward. Taddy, you want to say something quickly?
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier now, there's the Hayden Walsh guy. Hayden Walsh supposed to be a good spinner, but I get the impression the captain does have confidence in him. Because when he played down here, you know, almost every time he played, he got wickets and win matches. I noticed that. You're not the 2020 guy, John, but I noticed that. So you have to have confidence in the guy. Place of confidence in the guy. He can take some wickets, and wickets is what win matches. Slow down teams. Like he says, when you get man out, you slow down the team.
But that guy, Hayden Walsh, he's a two-tier man because he feels well.
Brilliant fielder.
He's gonna save you running the field.
Brilliant fielder.
You understand? So
Brilliant fielder.
I can't see why the man should not be playing.
Well, definitely. What Teddy said.
You guys running away from the
And just like what Teddy said, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it's confidence, and the more they don't play, then you lose confidence. And when he come, he's under extra pressure.
Yeah.
And you know the leg spinner, wrist spinner, he's gonna pull along one shot. He might get your wicket with it. When he's on some, it's very difficult to play.
The guy, he get 5 wickets today.
Zampa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Zampa did a big turn about it.
Him confident.
Yeah, but Zampa played very much. Zampa is big boy for us, you know. So you have to get the guy involved early, man. Get him that, because I see like earlier said, the Hussein guy, he can be those right there, nothing there about. But nothing special about it.
You need wickets.
You need old people. Old people.
No. Okay. Now, gentlemen, as time is going against us, but let's just quickly fast forward now. Our campaign in the T20 World Cup is basically over. We have one more match, I think, against
You think they're going to drop Gale for the last match?
No, I don't think they're going to drop Gale. I think Gale will get his, what they call it, the arch, the walk of honor. I think he will get that thing. But I'm not aware that, I could be wrong, but I don't think we have any more competitive cricket to be played in the Caribbean before England comes here, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think we have any no regional tournament scheduled. How do you?
On the 19th probably maybe the cricket in the Caribbean.
Okay.
World Cup coming.
And we have a tournament starting this weekend. Some ICC, American, not American. We should have got
Bermuda and other people. So.
Okay. We'll probably have to do a little follow up on that next week, Taddy. And just go a little.
Another here for sure.
But the question I wanted to ask now, because we all talk about changing this, changing that, doing this. Are we expecting to see wholesale changes? Because England is going to be here for 5 T20 matches, well, in Barbados, 5 T20 matches. Are we expecting to see wholesale changes to the team in that tournament? Because I'm not aware we have any other competition going up where they say you could look at new pool of players. So you're going to have to use maybe pass. Long time.
Exactly.
You have no choice now. But you have players you didn't take to this World Cup. So again now, the England series is where you start to build for the next big tournament coming up.
John, what I'm hoping for, John, the first thing to do, get rid of all the selectors. Maybe find a management for the cricket.
Frank, I agree with that.
Management too.
They're too old, man.
You know that will work.
But Frank, those selectors couldn't have been doing a good job to select the team that took the World Cup. See how we get to the
Definitely, I agree with that.
But the selectors are selectors.
But I also agree with what Owen was saying earlier. Selection panels have to be broader in an area as disparate as we are. 15 scattered islands all over the place. And as Taddy is saying, not only to watch them when they play in match out there, but to watch them in practice and so on and so forth too. And the kind of direct watching that people like Danny Livingston used to accomplish, you know, where he's stand as a standing umpire, where he can see everything that is going on with bowlers and every and batsman and fielders and everything, and be able to and field placing and that sort of thing, and be able to make his judgments and his recommendations on that basis.
You're so
From
right.
close-eyed watching.
King, you're so right. You're so correct. I can tell you why I said I didn't go up here a little bit. Because they have directors. There are some people that call directors from Windward Islands and West Indies Board. They have directors from Leeward Islands, from Antigua and so. I'm saying to you, they should get people around here, Owen, who can help to assist in that process. Tell you, look, we have this good young guys from Antigua.
Precisely.
Grenada, where he comes from. We have somebody from Nevis. You get them in the pool. Because they might not be making plenty ones. Okay? Hey, the great people just play president level. Top score thing with 19 and 20 so in regional tournament now. They are on the big square. When people see this team, you have a century in regional tournament, you know. You have no century in regional tournament. I guess you do not understand.
Yeah, but you're talking about an exceptional.
Exactly.
So you can be in a different bracket.
Eldin. This is why you have people in local watching local cricket. Scouts. So
Precisely.
Exactly, but you are saying about coaches and all that all the time. But why I don't understand? I'm pretty sure that this is what a coach's job is, to watch any sort of cricket, watch practice from the bottom all the way up.
Eldin, you only watch regional cricket.
No.
No, the selectors only want to watch regional cricket. The selectors only want to watch regional cricket for the West Indies tournament. And that's what they watch, to pick teams.
Depends which island you're from.
Well, hey,
you're watching,
fair enough, I accede to that. But I'm saying to you, they don't normally do that. So I'm saying to you, you get some extra guys, man, who can recommend.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure they have that.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure that
I don't coming from the system now, so I don't
believe that, John.
inside information.
Oh, people say you purge your conscience.
I have no conscience. I just look at cricket in general, and what we fail to do, we fail to ask one another question, because look, we're so what the word they use? We're so important. Not important one that we feel so intimidated that if me have a problem with the player, I suppose you can say, Teddy, and say, Teddy, hey, look, come here, check this man out for me, because fresh eyes can bring you fresh ideas. True. So a lot of players, when you the system about coaching and all that is that if you give me some advice about one of my players, I think you want my job. Yeah, I can understand how they think.
I know say early, but I would say, like King said, I'm going to say again, John, somebody from months, John, should be able to tell somebody, the director from Leeward, director, Months has a nice, good, young, talented guy. Somebody from Nevis, the same kids, with the same thing. There may be one or two in the John. Then when they pick, if they pick for Diamond League, let's say from Diamond League, they don't do one in the regional tournament now. But you know the guy is talented. You know he has the talent.
The captain, guys, is the captain's job under any scrutiny after this dismal performance in the World Cup?
What is it dismal performance? What do you mean by dismal performance?
Well, still have an egg. We have a cracked egg.
The team. So when the team was the captain for that? Okay.
I'm just asking if the captain comes under scrutiny.
John wants to say something again, no, John. That's why I said to you. Get rid of the selectors. Get rid of the captain, everybody. Okay, so the system might come from John in American sport. Where do we sack everybody now? They say, oh, you had a 4-year contract already. We'll pay him off again to leave him. Get somebody to get the job done. Okay, will you want to win?
That's how the Ayatollah work now.
No, it's in the American system. That's what the job. Even if they go to fire football coach, you bring somebody during the season, you fire them.
So you look for wholesale change. You want to get rid of everybody up there.
Simmons,
some people about you.
Select everybody.
Well, as you said, the captain is on scrutiny, but I'm wondering that these guys, they're up in age now. So, as Eileen said, we got to start to build and look for new people. Understand?
Leon Francis is saying here, Puran should be given an opportunity to lead one of the formats. 50 overs could be ideal. Who's this?
Which one the format, John?
Huh?
Which one Which one? It's a one of the farm. Which other format?
It's 50 or 20. He doesn't play test match study.
Well, why not try get to play test match?
That's
This is the point too.
He doesn't want to play.
We have been too quick to pigeonhole players into one thing, and I think the point has been made about Pollard. Pollard had made some centuries in 4-day cricket.
Yes, I know.
And then he came to Stanford and knocked the ball in the pool, and that was it. We have him as a T20 player. And I think we have to move away from that and look a little more at strategy and stop pigeonholing players so quickly.
So what you know in the test team?
See, I'm going to say this, I don't know, because they want 20 guys. But Pollard wrote 2 or 3 centuries in regional cricket. And
This is what I'm making.
I'm saying to you, why not tell Pollard, we want you to play test cricket. And if you don't want to play, when they're picking for they play 20 now, 50 over.
Precisely. We put him on 40 beach.
You know his team? We want in his cricket.
No, the force after selected.
Yeah, but again, if
You imagine, in all my life,
if someone
I have never heard of anybody going to evaluate and asking a journalist, asking a journalist if you want to play test cricket. You pick him. If you don't want to play test cricket, then you will be able to call me. But my suggestion would be, so I could kill the ball with one stone. Presently, the president of the Western Cricket Board is from the islands. I would like to see them organize a thing where we pay tribute every year to our cricketers that have contributed so much to cricket over the years. We said we target 3 or 4 players, and during that time, we have a meeting with these same players that you would bring, like the people on this panel, right? Taddy and Eddie and Sophie and so forth. And we have a meeting to decide, so all these suggestions we have here could be put to the Island Cricket Board and move forward from there. But we can do 2 things. We also recognize the players that have contributed and with management and so forth that have contributed to West Indies cricket and not wait until they die. The oldest existing player we have now is a 94-year-old man from Munchap called Davis. He lives in New York. I just found out about him a couple of weeks ago. He's still alive. And he was selected. They picked 1 player from each island 1 year. And the West Indies Cricket Board organized it. And he was selected from Munchap. I mean, how many people know these things? How many people know any of these? Before he dies, let me just recognize the man, Bring him down so he can talk a bit about the history of the game. While you will be there, and so forth. You've been extremely helpful to me to solve a serious problem about Anderson. And then you explain everything to me, I was able to understand it a little more, or whatever. So let's get a nice little thing together. This decide we are going to host it. This most convenient. I shifted from one island to each island each year. We recognize the Italians of the world and the Albanians and Sophie and all these individuals. That's a new world. Before people pass, and then we talk about them like the ancient.
Owen, you were saying?
Yeah, I was telling Bones that a few years ago in New York, about 5 years ago, I actually spoke to Lex Davis, the gentleman you're talking about. And he had told me when they went to British Guyana in the 1940s with Antonison. And he told me Antonison had bowled so quick in British Guyana in the 1940s that he should have been on the West Indies team. But in
1953, not 40s.
What year was it?
1953.
53, yeah.
I can explain to you. In the book that I'm doing now, the 108 years of Antigua cricket, and I have a special section for that. It was explained to me by Mr. Davis. Well, the West Indies Cricket Board, they're thinking of bringing in the islands players for the following year and CC visit in 54. So they pick 1 person from each island. Mr. Davis from Montserrat, Mr. Paston Eddy from St. Kitts, Antonison from Antigua, Gresham, and so forth down the world. And Mason. So what happened, the teams, were captain, because it has always been, I could not understand what people say, they give Antanas in the ball, he bowled 3 overs, knocked down some people, and they put him to field at 5 leg. Now that is partially correct, but the whole idea of the game was for everybody to bowl, particularly with people from the league and everyone, they said you got 4 wickets in the match. And they called it after the third day, and they said they saw what they need to say. They saw what they need to see. So I'm in the process now of trying to compare Anderson, because he would have come up against, I think Frank King is the guy who played in the first match against MCC the following year. So I'm trying to examine the players that are up to go for. Instead, he had a problem because he had a Ramadan Valentine. He had just come on the scene and he was creating, things all over the world. So I'm calling him the Sound of Anderson, and I'm trying to explain everything in the book as to what occurred. And the 3 wickets is that you bowl 8 overs to 10 runs and take the 3 top batsmen. Two West Indian batsmen, because the team were mixed. The batter West Indian and the ex-Steinmeier, the captain for the West Indian, and Robert Christian, captain the other team. And then that's how they did. But I wanted everybody to bowl. So once I asked them for the penciling in, I said, talent. And Anderson, talent. And Mr. Davis, essentially made 54, talent. And we moved forward, but they never selected them.
All right.
Even after that. Yes.
All right, Bones. Sorry to continue, Bones, but we're running on overtime now, so we're just going to look to wrap up shortly. Let me just recognize Jaman Roberts. Just admit and say our fast bowlers are very friendly. Jaman in London, good to have you aboard, Jaman. And Christine Arundel, we the people don't hold our administrators, selectors and players to account. If the Indian team had put in such a performance, the whole of India would be in uproar and players can't go home. If performance doesn't improve, they might not be able to for a while. Good afternoon, Marvel. Good to have you. Abdel, yes, I recognize you already. Earl and Carol. Gentlemen, one last question for me, just going around the table quick. More than likely, tomorrow is going to be Chris Gale's last, Saturday is going to be Chris Gale's last opportunity to play for West Indies, more than likely. Should he play?
Yeah, I've been already given him his honor. Send him off, and let him go.
Owen?
Yeah, I agree as well. You have to let the elder statesman go out in glory and blaze of glory. But it should not mean that some of the guys on the team should not serve a short custodial sentence when they come back to the Caribbean.
John, this legal stuff.
Yeah, I forgot to read this for him now. Who said it? I think it was Earl said, tell Roach this is not a court where we talk about submission.
I think that, Chris Gale should play. He's already there, I say, give him his proper send-off as he probably was looking for.
Frank,
Yes, I just want to say what a pleasure it has been here. And to emphasize a little point I was making that I'll make quickly, that Bourne was making about our history of the game and the legacy which we carry here in the Caribbean, which we must always remember. And it has not been taught even at the West Indies level. How many people know about Larry Constantine and what a smash he made in England till they made him a member of the House of Lords, for example. And in this respect, let me just put in a little plug for Bourne. He's writing this history of Leeward Islands cricket generally, 108 years, because as we know, the Hesketh Bell Shield started in 1913. This is even before West Indies were into Test cricket, so we have to pay attention to the past.
I played this over nobody.
Okay. So go ahead,
King.
Yeah?
You can continue.
Continue.
Yes, well, that's really my sort of part in the shot, as it were. When you mentioned Bennett Roach, I would just like to say he's currently in the bridge circuit around the Caribbean amongst certain Antiguan players, and every time he passes through Antigua, he comes into the bridge club to play. Nowadays we've been playing on the air, so I don't know if he might be listening in here, but just to big up all of Montserrat really, And to remind us, like looking at history and so on, we're here in ACB. How many of you remember when ACB was just in a little sort of shack, a sort of garage there at the bottom of St. Mary's Street? I doubt many people on this panel would remember that anyhow. But in relation to our cricket going forward, I think we have to pay a little more attention to some of the basics that we have been mentioning. Stop pigeonholing people so very, very quickly into either this or that. You know, when I heard of Puran, I thought he was just a 2020 player. But then when I saw him, actually, I wait till we played the first match in the 50 overs last World Cup in Headingley, I think. Yeah, I saw that this man is a very correct batsman. He was making strokes, keeping the ball in the V, and that sort of thing, you know. And I said, well, this was not the impression I've gotten from him from just listening to people talk about him. I saw him in the flesh. I was slightly surprised, if you see what I mean. So I think that this is where we have to look when we're going into the future. Look to the basics, stop pigeonholing people so early, and let us get involved with the in-depth coaching that people like Taddy, Danny Livingston, Guy Yearwood, and so on, and others throughout the Caribbean would have been, you know, adept at doing. Even Austin Eddy, I remember when, or even Gibbs, when Gibbs came here, that he looked at Butters Lake, for example. I was quite impressed. And I know that even when transfer for